Everybody good? All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Yasha Franklin Hodge, and I have the honor of serving as Mayor Wu's Chief of Streets. Normally, we like to do this with a really nice visual backdrop of a big pile of salt and a lot of our plowing equipment. Unfortunately, the 60-degree day today did not cooperate with that plan, but happy to have you here in the Eagle Room. So Mayor Wu has been fully briefed on the city's preparations for winter, and we wanted to take some time to share them with you and with the members of the public. Unfortunately, the mayor is not able to be here with us today, but as you know, winter in Boston is a team sport, and I'd like to first start off by acknowledging some of the people who are here from our many partner agencies at the city who have joined us to help talk about some of the preparations that we have made. So you'll be hearing from Deputy Chief Matt Kearney from our emergency operations team, Commissioner Tanya Del Rio from Inspectional Services, Chief Brianna Malor from our community engagement team, and Chief Sheila Dillon from our Office of Housing. In addition, we have Chief Hooley from Boston EMS, Deputy Superintendent Joe Gillespie from the Boston Police Department, Chief of Operations Rodney Marshall from the Fire Department, Superintendent of Basic City Services Mike Burrell, and Deputy Chief of Streets for Transportation and BTD Commissioner Nick Gove, and we have our Green New Deal Director and Head of Commissioner of the Environment Department Oliver Sellers Garcia. Anybody else I forgot? My apologies. So I want to also just start by saying thank you. We have, in addition to our Highway Division leadership, Danny Nee, we have our Assistant Superintendents, Clarence Perkins and Gilbert Costin here today. And really the thank you goes to our entire Highway Division. There are many staff members throughout the Streets Cabinet and throughout the city who work to make sure that our streets stay clear and safe during weather events. For many folks in public works, winter is one of the hardest times of year. It's long hours, it's unpredictable schedules, it's a lot of time away from family, and city staff respond when the weather demands it, whether it's on a weekend, whether it's in the middle of the night. We have an incredible group of dedicated personnel who sacrifice a lot to make sure that the city stays safe and clear, and I want to acknowledge that and express my and the city's appreciation. Even in a mild winter like last year, there were 11 events that required a response, and so far this year, we've already had 2 small snow events that have required us to bring some personnel on to be ready to respond. While snow is a routine occurrence here, ultimately, we know that it is through the sacrifices of many individuals that we're able to handle it. So in preparation for winter, we have 175 pieces of in-house equipment on hand and ready to go, with the ability to put more than 800 pieces of equipment in the field with the help of our contractors. I want to thank our Central Fleet Maintenance team and its director, Robbie Pardo, who is here. These are the folks who are responsible for getting trucks ready for winter, for making sure that vehicles are well maintained in advance of the snow, and in the middle of a storm, doing ongoing maintenance. Robbie and I started talking about prep in August, and they started outfitting equipment over the fall to make sure we're ready in time for winter. We rely primarily on city staff for equipment and city staff and equipment to handle the smaller storms that we see here in Boston, but we have an army of contractors available to help with major events. Over the past 2 months, the team has been meeting with those contractors, updating them on operational plans, ensuring that they are as prepared as we are to be on the road when we need them to be. And again, this year, Boston is leading the coordination with state agencies. As you know, there are many streets in Boston where the responsibilities for snow clearance belong to a state agency, or where there's a shared or overlapping jurisdiction, whether these be streets, paths, bus shelters. And so in November, we brought MassDOT, DCR, and the MBTA together, as we now do every year, to review all of our operational plans and make sure that everybody is aligned, in contact, and coordinated about the work that we will have to do together in the winter ahead. Whether you walk, take the bus, bike, or drive, we want winter travel to be safe and convenient. In addition to our intensive efforts to clear vehicle lanes on our streets, we also work to keep the city safe for people using our sidewalks or riding a bike. And as part of our post-storm cleanup operations, we will deploy small pieces of equipment to clear curb ramps and crosswalks especially in some of our busiest areas, like our neighborhood business districts, downtown, near transit, schools, and bus stops. This was originally rolled out as part of a pilot program, and it is now part of our regular wintertime operations. We also have appropriately sized equipment to clear the growing network of bike lanes in the city. We know that some people do bike year-round, and we want to make sure that all modes of transportation are available to people throughout the winter. Making it through the winter, though, isn't just about what government can do. Everyone, residents and business owners, has a part to play. And so we ask that people please adhere to all of the rules as it relates to shoveling sidewalks. Sidewalks and curb ramps abutting your property should be cleared 3 hours after snowfall ends or 3 hours after sunrise if snowfall ends overnight. When clearing your property, please be a good neighbor and help out by clearing nearby catch basins and fire hydrants. And if you're able to help shovel out a neighbor who maybe isn't able to do it themselves, that is always appreciated. When you do clear your sidewalks, when you do not clear your sidewalks, you force people to walk in the street or to scramble over on icy and unsafe conditions. This can put lives at risk, and it makes it harder for all of our neighbors to get around, especially people who may have a mobility limitation. When you're clearing your property, please do not throw the snow back into the street. Our Public Works team is very dedicated. They do not want the extra work, however, that comes when people put snow from the sidewalk or from their driveway into the public right-of-way. All curbside trash and recycling should be placed at a clear space on the curb so our crews can safely access bins and barrels. All of the recycling carts or bins that are put behind snowbanks may not be collected if they are not accessible to the crews who do that work. During any inclement weather event, we ask our residents to be patient. When it snows, we take the time to get to treat and plow every street in every neighborhood of the city. But our priority is to make sure that major arteries are clear and accessible for emergency vehicles and buses. And so sometimes for smaller streets, they come second, and it can take a bit of time. So give us some time to do our work during the storm. But after the storm, if you see streets that need attention, please report those to 311. You can call or use the app, and we'll make sure that any cleanup that's needed gets taken care of. In the event of a snow emergency, a reminder to drivers that major roads and arteries must remain clear. Vehicles parked in posted snow emergency arterial routes will be towed. Discounted parking is available at some partner lots and garages throughout the city, and you can find the full list at boston.gov/snow. On that site, you will also find a list of winter resources that are available to you, including much of this information that we've shared here today. And we ask that folks continue to follow City of Boston social media channels, to use the Alert Boston service so that you can get critical winter weather updates from the city as they happen. Residents should also have received this year's winter weather guide, which is available online in 11 different languages at that same URL, boston.gov/snow. And lastly, I want to remind everyone to be safe on the road. If you are driving, slow down. Winter weather can make it harder, winter weather can make driving harder, and people who are on foot or in a wheelchair may sometimes need to travel on the streets before sidewalks are fully clear. If you're biking, make sure you have bright lights and slow down. And with early sunsets, there are more people walking after dark, and we urge everyone to be cautious, especially people who are operating a motor vehicle. So the last 2 years have been light, but we are prepared and ready for whatever this winter will bring for us. Please look out for your neighbors, and thank you for doing your part this winter. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to our Deputy Chief of Emergency Management, Matthew Kearney.
Thank you, Chief. Good afternoon, everyone. As we prepare for the cold winter months ahead, the Office of Emergency Management urges all Boston residents to take an important step in staying safe and informed by signing up for our emergency notification system, Alert Boston. This system is designed to keep you updated in real time during major weather-related events and other emergencies by delivering warnings and updates directly to your phone via call, text message, or email. To ensure that all residents are informed and connected, Alert Boston is available in 11 different languages. Whether English is your first language or not, this system is here to serve everyone in the community. Signing up is quick and easy. Just visit boston.gov/alert to enroll and take this proactive step towards ensuring your safety and preparedness. Our office works closely with the National Weather Service throughout the year to be aware of any weather that may have impacts to the city. If severe weather does arrive, our office is fully prepared to activate our Emergency Operations Center. The EOC serves as the central hub where city and state agencies come together with our utility partners to coordinate resources, lead response efforts, and support recovery operations. This collaboration ensures that Boston is prepared to tackle any challenges that may arise, minimizing disruption and maximizing safety for all. In closing, we want to emphasize that winter preparedness is a shared responsibility. By working together, residents, city agencies, and partners, we can ensure a safe and enjoyable winter for everyone who lives in or visits the city of Boston. Now I'd like to pass it on to our Commissioner of Inspectional Services, Tanya Del Rio.
Thank you. And on behalf of Inspectional Services, sharing information about the services that we're going to be able to provide to constituents, residents during the cold weather. First and foremost, we want to ensure everybody knows, especially if you're in a rental unit, if you are finding yourselves with no heat, Inspectional Services does treat that as an emergency situation. Please call 311 and we'll send an inspector out to respond to that no heat call. We want to make sure everybody is safe and in conditions that are appropriate. A lot of work also is happening in the background that our teams are doing to protect our constituents' pockets, essentially. So for those residents that are using oil to heat their homes, we do have our weights and measures team out, making sure the oil trucks are calibrated properly to make sure nobody's being overcharged. Again, also during high travel season, we have those same teams out, making sure the scales at the airport are properly calibrated and not overcharging people. There are also a lot of emergencies that may happen in buildings, such as pipes breaking and electrical or plumbing emergencies. Our inspectors are going to be out there on 24-hour on call to make sure that we are able to respond to those emergencies. Lastly, I just want to ask folks to sign up for the Inspectional Services newsletter, where we will be providing appropriate information around anything from how to safely install your holiday lighting, making sure you're preventing for frozen pipe situations and the like at ISD. So thank you, and I'm handing it off now to my colleague Sheila Dillon. Brianna Miller, thank you.
I can do my own intro. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brianna Miller. I'm the Chief of Community Engagement. I support 4 different cabinets, so the Office of Civic Organizing, Spark Boston, Boston 301, and the Office of Neighborhood Services. So thank you for having me. So I want to speak directly to Boston residents first and foremost to make sure you all know that the city is committed to supporting you through our winter emergencies and making sure you're connected to resources as well as keeping you safe during these winter months ahead. Each neighborhood has a designated neighborhood liaison, from Charlestown to Mattapan to Dorchester. Every single neighborhood has a liaison that will help you connect to neighborhood services and make sure that during winter emergencies you are connected to resources. If you do not know who your neighborhood liaison is, you could go to boston.gov/ONS, or you can call 311 and they will directly connect you to who your neighborhood liaison is. Ahead of the winter emergencies, liaisons make active wellness calls to residents, neighborhood organizations, nonprofit groups, senior centers, to make sure they are aware of the services that the city is providing, whether that means, neighborhood heating centers and other resources as well. Liaisons are also actively working alongside our public safety partners to support with fire displacements and other weather emergencies as well. The Community Engagement Cabinet also, as I mentioned earlier, has Boston 311. Boston 311 is a 24/7 non-emergency hotline. You can also call 311, but you also can dial 617-635-4500 to connect to our 311 call takers. You have the option of also downloading the Boston 301 app, which is great because you can upload visuals, photos of concerning fire hydrants that are covered in snow, unshoveled handicap ramps, or sewer drains that are covered in your neighborhoods. The 301 app and the call center is also provides services in 11 different languages. The city is requesting that residents wait 3 hours after snowfall or 3 hours after sunrise before you call 311. If the snow continues into the night, to report unshoveled sidewalks, salting, and snow plowing. It may take up to 3 hours or some time to process snow-related requests because we know our public works department is hard at work making sure the main roads and side streets are supported to make sure drivers are safe, the people that are using our roads are safe. For some examples to call 311, you can call 311 to report broken traffic signs or a street lamp that is due to, high winds or snow. Call 311 if you need to report an unshoveled sidewalk. Just a reminder, the property owner is responsible for clearing sidewalks and handicap ramps surrounding their property. Call 311 to get help identifying discounted parking in your neighborhood. And please keep in mind that the city does not clear driveways. And our most fun topic, for all the neighbors that are using space savers, remember you can only use space savers when the city declares a snow emergency has ended. Residents have 48 hours to use a space saver after a snow emergency has ended, or the city will remove them. After that, you must remove it from the street. And friendly reminder, in the South End and Bay Village, space savers are not allowed. I encourage you to make sure to follow the Boston 301 on social media, as well as the Community Engagement Cabinet on social media for live updates. And please subscribe to your neighborhood newsletter because we have a lot of resources there. So you can go to boston.gov/ONS-newsletter. But then I will now pass it off to Sheila.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I'm Sheila Dillon. I'm Chief of Housing for the city, and just want to give you some information on what to do, or what we have been doing to make sure that vulnerable populations are safe. So city departments, state agencies, and nonprofits have been meeting now for months getting ready for the winter. We've been meeting monthly, putting a plan in place. The Boston Public Health Commission, Pine Street Inn, Bay Cove, Bridge Over Troubled Waters have approximately 1,170 emergency shelter beds for homeless individuals within the city boundaries. In addition, the city has 180 low threshold beds for individuals that, because of behavioral issues, needs, do not do well in large shelters, so we have additional space for folks that need a smaller spaces with support services. But we all know that shelters have been full heading into the winter, so to respond to that, the city's been working very hard with our partners, and we have identified an additional 215 emergency shelter beds or warming spaces. So we feel comfortable that in the cold and inclement weather, no one will be turned away. Everyone will have a safe space. In response to the growing regional need, homelessness throughout the region, the state has been working very hard to bring on additional beds outside of the city. And this is really important to us because it keeps people closer to their families and their support systems, and also it takes the pressure off of Boston shelters. The state has brought on 380 additional shelter beds outside of Boston, and they're working right now on bringing an additional 400 beds, which we anticipate being announced in the very near future. On cold and stormy nights, Boston daytime and nighttime shelters will be in communication with each other to ensure that everyone has a safe place to shelter, receive meals, and appropriate clothing. And in addition, when the weather gets very cold or there are blizzard-like conditions, Boston's first responders, some of them behind me today, city agencies, and Pine Street outreach vans will be actively engaging with anyone sleeping on the streets and encouraging them to come in. We are, like we do every year, we are asking the public, if you see anyone who looks like they're in distress because of cold weather or for any reason, call 911 and we will dispatch someone as quickly as we can to that person and encourage them to come in and get warm and get services. Another vulnerable population in cold and stormy weather are our older residents. The Boston Home Center, a division of the Mayor's Office of Housing, is standing ready to respond to home repairs, especially emergency home repairs that our seniors need. If a senior does not have heat and they are a homeowner, they can also call 311, and we have contractors in place that can respond 24/7 to the senior's home, making sure they get their heat up and running, or a new system if that's required. So we really have done a lot of preparation for our vulnerable populations, and we're asking the public to be our partners here, and really let us know if you see or feel anyone is in any kind of distress. Thank you.
And that is the end of our speakers. Any questions?
Did you have any issues today with the rain event?
No, none today. Anytime there's, so the question was whether we had any issues with the rain event. Nothing that I'm aware of today. I don't know, Mike, if you have any awareness. Anytime there's a major storm like this, we're working closely with Boston Water and Sewer and making sure that all the drainage system is up and running. But thankfully, the temperatures made today pretty straightforward. Anything else? All right. Thank you all very much. Good to see you.